Welcome back. We all want to wake up and feel a sense of abundance. We want to start our day knowing that our financial needs will be met, that our businesses will thrive, and that our investments will grow. But most people wake up in a state of anxiety. They check their bank accounts, they worry about their bills, and they start their day from a place of lack. What if there was a different way to begin the day? What if there was a specific ancient practice that could align your mind with the infinite abundance of the universe before you even step out of bed? Today, I am going to reveal the morning prayer that King Solomon used every single day to attract his legendary wealth. Before we explore this powerful morning ritual, I want to invite you to explore the Torah Millionaire Business School. This is a complete 14-module educational program that dives deep into the Torah, Talmud, and Kabbalah perspectives on money, work, and stewardship. It is designed for those who are ready to stop struggling and start aligning with the spiritual laws of wealth. You can find the link in the description below. Now, let us return to our lesson. The ancient king, known as the wisest and wealthiest man of his time, did not build his fortune by accident. His wealth was the result of a profound spiritual alignment, and that alignment began the moment he woke up. While the exact words of his daily morning prayer are not recorded as a single script, the essence of his morning devotion is captured throughout the book of Proverbs and the Psalms attributed to him. The core of his morning practice was not a request for money, but a declaration of divine partnership. The prayer of King Solomon was centered on the concept of Modeh Ani, the Jewish prayer of gratitude said immediately upon waking. But Solomon took this concept further. He did not just thank God for his life, he thanked God for the opportunity to co-create wealth. His morning prayer was a daily recalibration of his ego, a reminder that he was not the source of his wealth, but merely the steward of it. Let me tell you about Arthur. Arthur was a highly driven entrepreneur who had built a successful tech company. But his success came at a terrible cost. He woke up every morning at 4 a.m, his heart pounding with anxiety. He would immediately grab his phone, check his emails, and start putting out fires. He believed that his wealth depended entirely on his constant vigilance and relentless hustle. Arthur was wealthy, but he was miserable. He suffered from chronic insomnia and high blood pressure. He felt like he was carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. He had the money, but he lacked the shalom, the peace and completeness that true wealth should bring. Arthur's turning point came when he suffered a minor heart attack. His doctor told him that if he did not change his lifestyle, his next heart attack would be fatal. During his recovery, Arthur began to study ancient wisdom texts. He learned about the morning practice of King Solomon. He realized that his anxiety stemmed from his belief that he was the sole creator of his wealth. Arthur decided to change his morning routine. Instead of grabbing his phone, he started his day with a prayer of gratitude and surrender. He would say, "Creator of the universe, I thank you for returning my soul to me this morning. I acknowledge that you are the source of all abundance. Today I offer my skills, my energy, and my business as a vessel for your blessing. Guide my decisions and let my work be a reflection of your wisdom." This simple shift in perspective transformed Arthur's life. By acknowledging that he was a partner with the divine rather than a solo operator, the crushing weight of responsibility lifted from his shoulders. He still worked hard, but he no longer worked from a place of fear. His decisions became more strategic and less reactive. His business continued to grow, but his health and his peace of mind improved dramatically. He had discovered the true power of the morning prayer. The first element of King Solomon's morning prayer is the acknowledgement of the source. When you wake up and immediately focus on your problems, your debts, or your competitors, You are making those things your God. You are giving them power over your mind and your emotions. But when you wake up and immediately acknowledge the Creator as the source of all wealth, you put your problems in their proper perspective. The Kabbalists teach that the morning is a time of chesed, or loving kindness. It is a time when the spiritual gates of abundance are wide open. If you start your day with anxiety, you close those gates. If you start your day with gratitude and acknowledgement of the source, you open yourself to receive the flow of Shefa, or divine blessing. Consider the story of Beatrice. Beatrice was a freelance graphic designer who was constantly struggling to find clients. She would wake up every morning feeling a sense of dread, wondering how she was going to pay her rent. She would spend hours scrolling through job boards, feeling increasingly desperate and inadequate. Beatrice learned about the power of the morning prayer and decided to try it. She committed to spending the first 10 minutes of her day in quiet reflection, acknowledging the abundance of the universe. She would say, "I am surrounded by infinite opportunity. The Creator has provided me with unique talents, and there are people who need exactly what I have to offer. I trust that the right clients will find me today." At first, it felt like she was lying to herself. Her bank account was still empty, but she persisted. After a few weeks, she noticed a subtle shift in her energy. She felt more confident and less desperate. When she reached out to potential clients, her tone was different. She was no longer begging for work. She was offering a valuable service. This shift in energy changed everything. Clients began to respond positively to her proposals. She landed a major contract with a marketing agency that provided her with steady, high-paying work. Her morning prayer had not magically deposited money into her account, but it had changed her frequency, allowing her to attract the wealth that was already available to her. The second element of King Solomon's morning prayer is the request for chochmah, or wisdom. As we discussed in a previous lesson, Solomon did not ask for riches, he asked for an understanding heart. Every morning he renewed this request. He knew that the wisdom he needed yesterday might not be sufficient for the challenges of today. When you pray for wisdom in the morning, you are asking for the ability to see beyond the surface of things. You are asking for the discernment to recognize good opportunities and avoid bad ones. You are asking for the clarity to make decisions that align with your long-term goals and your spiritual values. Let us look at Julian. Julian was a real estate investor who was known for his aggressive tactics. He would wake up every morning looking for a fight. He saw every negotiation as a battle to be won, and he was willing to use whatever means necessary to get the best deal. He was successful, but he left a trail of broken relationships and bitter enemies in his wake. Julian's aggressive approach eventually caught up with him. He entered into a partnership with a group of investors who were even more ruthless than he was. They structured the deal in a way that left Julian exposed to massive liability. When the market turned, Julian lost almost everything. Julian realized that his aggressive, ego-driven approach had been his downfall. He began to study the wisdom of King Solomon. He learned that true wealth is built on trust and mutual benefit, not on domination and exploitation. He started incorporating the request for wisdom into his morning routine. He would pray, "Give me the wisdom to see the true value in every transaction. Give me the discernment to choose partners who operate with integrity. Help me to build wealth in a way that benefits everyone involved." This new approach transformed Julian's business. He started looking for win-win scenarios rather than zero-sum games. He built a reputation as a fair and trustworthy partner. Because people wanted to work with him, he had access to better deals and more reliable funding. His wealth grew steadily and securely, built on a foundation of wisdom rather than aggression. The third element of King Solomon's morning prayer is the commitment to tzedakah, or righteous giving. The king understood that wealth is not meant to be hoarded, it is meant to be circulated. Every morning, he reminded himself of his responsibility to use his wealth to elevate his kingdom and support those in need. When you include a commitment to giving in your morning prayer, you are signaling to the universe that you are a safe vessel for wealth. You are demonstrating that you understand the spiritual mechanics of money. You are not a stagnant pool, you are a flowing river. Think about Vivienne. Vivienne was a successful author who had made a significant amount of money from her books, but she was terrified of losing it. She hoarded her wealth, refusing to invest it or give it away. She lived a frugal, restricted life, constantly worrying about the future. Vivienne's fear of loss was actually blocking her from receiving more. Her creative energy dried up, and she struggled to write her next book. She felt stuck and uninspired. Vivienne sought the advice of a spiritual mentor who explained the concept of tzedakah. The mentor told her, "Your wealth is like a muscle. If you do not use it, it will atrophy. You must circulate your money to keep the energy flowing." Vivienne decided to incorporate a commitment to giving into her morning routine. She would pray, "I am grateful for the abundance I have received. Today, I commit to using a portion of my wealth to bless others. Show me who needs my help today." She started making small, anonymous donations to charities and individuals in need. The act of giving broke the spell of fear that had paralyzed her. She realized that she had more than enough and that giving did not diminish her wealth. It expanded her spirit. Her creative energy returned, and she wrote her most successful book yet. Her morning commitment to tzedakah had unblocked the flow of abundance in her life. The morning prayer of King Solomon is a powerful tool for financial transformation. It is not a magic formula that will instantly make you rich. It is a daily practice of spiritual alignment. It requires discipline, consistency, and a genuine desire to partner with the divine. To implement this practice in your own life, you must create a sacred space in your morning routine. Before you check your phone, before you read the news, before you engage with the demands of the world, take 5 minutes to connect with the source. Begin with gratitude. Acknowledge the Creator as the source of all your blessings. Thank Him for the breath in your lungs and the opportunities that lie ahead. Next, ask for wisdom. Ask for the discernment to navigate the complexities of your business or your career. Ask for the clarity to make decisions that align with your highest values. Finally, commit to service. Declare your intention to use your skills, your energy, and your wealth to elevate the world around you. Ask to be shown how you can be a blessing to others today. When you start your day with this powerful alignment, you change the trajectory of your entire life. You move from a state of anxiety and lack to a state of peace and abundance. You become a magnet for opportunity because you are operating on the frequency of wealth. The ancient king understood that the battle for wealth is won or lost in the first moments of the day. If you surrender your morning to fear and distraction, you surrender your financial destiny. But if you claim your morning for wisdom, gratitude, and service, you unlock the infinite abundance of the universe. Do not let another day begin in a state of anxiety. Take control of your morning. Adopt the prayer of King Solomon and watch as the Creator fills your life with riches, honor, and profound peace. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. May you start every day with a listening heart, and may your life be filled with the infinite abundance of the Creator. Shalom. To truly master the morning prayer of King Solomon, we must delve deeper into the psychological and spiritual mechanics of the first hour of the day. The Kabbalists refer to the transition from sleep to wakefulness as a micro-resurrection. During sleep, the soul ascends to higher realms, leaving the body in a state of rest. Upon waking, the soul returns, bringing with it fresh energy and divine potential. How you manage this transition determines the quality of your entire day. If you immediately flood your mind with the stress of the material world by checking emails, reading negative news, or worrying about your bank balance, you instantly sever the connection to that higher spiritual realm. You drag your soul down into the mud of anxiety before it even has a chance to spread its wings. You are essentially telling the universe that your problems are bigger than the Creator's power. The ancient king understood this delicate transition. His morning prayer was a deliberate act of spiritual anchoring. By focusing first on gratitude, wisdom, and service, he created a protective shield around his mind. He established a baseline of shalom, peace, and completeness that could withstand the inevitable chaos of ruling a kingdom and managing vast wealth. Consider the story of Reginald. Reginald was a highly successful corporate litigator. His job was inherently stressful, involving high-stakes negotiations and constant conflict. For years, his morning routine consisted of waking up to a blaring alarm, immediately checking his phone for urgent messages from clients, and rushing out the door with a cup of coffee. He was always in a state of fight or flight. Reginald's wealth was substantial, but his quality of life was poor. He suffered from chronic stomach ulcers, and his relationships were strained. He felt like a machine, constantly processing data and fighting battles with no sense of higher purpose. Reginald decided to attend a retreat focused on ancient Jewish meditation practices. There, he learned about the concept of guarding the morning. The instructor explained that the first thoughts of the day set the energetic frequency for everything that follows. If you start with conflict, you will attract conflict. If you start with peace, you will attract peace. Reginald committed to a radical change. He bought an old-fashioned alarm clock and left his phone in another room overnight. When he woke up, instead of reaching for his device, he spent the first 20 minutes of his day in quiet prayer and reflection. He adopted the framework of King Solomon. He expressed gratitude for his life, asked for the wisdom to handle his cases with integrity, and committed to using his legal skills to bring about justice, not just victory. The transformation was profound. Reginald didn't work fewer hours, and his cases didn't become less complex. But his internal state completely changed. Because he started his day anchored in spiritual purpose, the aggressive tactics of opposing counsel no longer triggered his fight-or-flight response. He remained calm, focused, and strategic. His new demeanor actually made him a more effective lawyer. Judges respected his calm authority, and clients felt reassured by his steady presence. His income increased as he took on more complex, high-value cases, but his stress levels plummeted. His stomach ulcers healed and his relationships improved. He had learned that true wealth is not just about the money you make, but the state of mind in which you make it. The morning prayer also serves as a powerful antidote to the illusion of control. In the modern business world, we are taught that we must control every variable, micromanage every process, and force outcomes through sheer willpower. This illusion of control is the root cause of much financial anxiety. When things inevitably go wrong, when a market crashes, a client backs out, or a product fails, we feel personally responsible and deeply threatened. The ancient king's prayer of surrender breaks this illusion. By acknowledging the Creator as the ultimate source of wealth and power, you release the burden of having to control the universe. You accept your role as a partner and a steward rather than a dictator. This does not mean you become passive. You still do your hishtadlut, you build your vessel, you work hard, and you make strategic decisions. But you do so with the understanding that the ultimate outcome is in the hands of the divine. You do your best, and you surrender the rest. Let us look at Isabella. Isabella was the founder of a rapidly growing e-commerce startup. She was a perfectionist who tried to control every aspect of her business, from the marketing copy to the packaging materials. As the company grew, her need for control became a bottleneck. She was working 100-hour weeks, and her team felt micromanaged and demoralized. Isabella was terrified that if she let go of the reins, the company would fail and she would lose everything she had built. Her anxiety was paralyzing her ability to lead effectively. Isabella began working with an executive coach who introduced her to the concept of spiritual surrender. The coach challenged her to start her day with a specific prayer. Creator, I surrender my need to control every outcome. I trust that you are guiding this business. Give me the wisdom to lead my team effectively and the courage to trust them with the details. It was incredibly difficult for Isabella to relinquish control, but as she practiced this morning surrender, she began to realize that her micromanagement was actually hindering the company's growth. She started delegating tasks to her team, trusting them to execute the vision. To her surprise, the company did not collapse. In fact, it thrived. Her team, feeling empowered and trusted, became more innovative and productive. The company's revenue doubled in the next year. Isabella realized that her illusion of control had been limiting her wealth. By surrendering that control in her morning prayer, she opened the door to exponential growth. The morning prayer of King Solomon is a daily declaration of your spiritual identity. It is a reminder that you are not just a consumer, a worker, or an entrepreneur. You are a divine vessel, created to channel the infinite abundance of the universe into the material world. When you embrace this identity, your relationship with money changes completely. You no longer see wealth as a scarce resource to be hoarded and protected. You see it as a flowing river of energy that you have the privilege of directing. You become a master of wealth rather than a slave to it. This is the ultimate secret of King Solomon. His legendary wealth was not the result of a magic trick or a lucky investment. It was the natural byproduct of a mind and a heart that were perfectly aligned with the source of all abundance. You have the power to create that same alignment in your own life. It begins tomorrow morning. When you open your eyes, do not reach for your phone. Do not let the anxieties of the world rush in. Take a deep breath, connect with the Creator, and pray for the wisdom, the gratitude, and the listening heart that will unlock your infinite potential. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. May you start every day with a listening heart, and may your life be filled with the infinite abundance of the Creator. Shalom.